welcome to Coffee with Joy. I'm so excited to have you all here. I am so excited to have my guest, Sarea, as we talk about all things video production, as she's an entrepreneur, as she's into this business, how she helping mentees to discover the world behind the camera, as well as in front of the camera. So we're going to talk to her, just dive into what now society has really taken as far as being creatives, as being creators, and really seeking help on the production side on how to edit, how to shoot, how to photography, how to play with the camera, and how to understand and how to get your subject together and things of that matter. So much in such little time, right? So if you are a creator or a business person, this is a great segment that you need to listen to. So right after these messages, we're going to have my guest, Sarea, as we talk about all things production. Stay tuned. Cute workout sets are the bomb. Make sure that you hit the PayPal QR code and so that you can find out more about these cute sets and so much more. Let's get to working out. Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. Sarea, thank you for being in the place. Woo woo. So
Thanks
excited.
for having me.
Yes. So before we jump right in, can you tell people a little bit about yourself and then we're going to dive right into our conversation?
Yes, so I am Sarea Flo, owner of Sarea Flo Productions, which is a video production company based here in Washington, D.C. We specialize in video productions for small businesses, entrepreneurs, influencers, musical artists, whoever needs to create content or to provide branding and promotional videos for. We also have we also have film and television production department as well, where we pitch shows for network television and new streaming platforms like Hulu, Amazon, Netflix. And then we also have a writers portion where we have a writer's room for professional women who are interested in writing for television, and then a mentorship program for college students who also want to do the same thing in screenwriting. So that is the gist of what Sarea Flow Productions provides.
Now, if that's not enough, I don't know what else to tell you people. Clearly see like every pinpoint has been taken.
Yes.
There's what is not being done, correct? So just know everything is being touched. So what made you get into this whole starting your own video production and moving forward with it?
Oh, that is a great question because I feel like um, I was kind of like forced into it because, well, production, of course, has always been something that I wanted to do. Went to school for it and everything. And when I graduated from college, I was, unbeknownst to me, I was with child. So I couldn't pursue my dream of graduating from college and then flying to LA to live because I wanted to have my support system. So I came back to DC. I went to school in North Carolina, Winston-Salem State University. Whoop. And I came back so my family could support me in the decision of like raising a child. So what wound up happening was I met a director in the area who was doing a number of things in the industry with his own company. And he kind of gave me like the boot camp style version of like running a business. Like he would make me do all the things for his business that he should be doing. And I was just like, I'm scared. I was so young. I was 24 years old. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, go pick up this check and make these people sign this contract. And I'm just like, what? So I think that was like a prerequisite for me to like understand how to actually run a business. But over that time, from that was in 2010. But over time, from 2010 until about 2016, I had worked a 9 to 5, and um, I wasn't fulfilled. So I wind up leaving in 2016 and working full time in production. But I started noticing, like, oh my gosh, I'm the only woman, or sometimes the only Black woman. And it felt like, isolated, lonely. You have women that you could talk to on set, but, sometimes you're not understood as
Yeah.
much. So um, I kind of already like had the idea of like wanting to have my company, but just didn't have it. So what I wound up doing was when I saw that, that was like my unction to really LLC a business and
Yeah.
to provide these opportunities for Black women, young Black girls. to intern for the company, to learn from us, and to really just grow that area of, um, of despair. Like, it's like, you see a need, you should be able to fulfill it. That's the
Right.
reason why you should start a business. So that's kind of how it happened. So 2018, I LLC my business, and Sarea Flo has been in business since.
Yes, yes, yes. And see, and that was surely I was going to segue into, because definitely it's an arena where it's majority men. You rarely see women at the highest, at the high peak, right? Of
Yes.
course, they may be an assistant, they may be the water girl, but never, you don't hear of women running their production, So that's something I must commend you on, because again, it's almost like being in the room of like a football player. You're the
Yes.
only woman coach, right?
Yes.
It's not to
Yes.
say that women can't do it, but there are some professions that house majority of one gender. And
Yes.
when you see the other gender, it's like, okay, it gives you you are a trailblazer for other women to say, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And it just continues to widen that door for individuals, right? So now that you're at your peak, you're here. What has been like your ups and downs doing your company, producing your company, and starting to leverage off of it?
Oh my goodness. So yes, I guess the obstacles have just been, of course, getting people to trust you with their vision. Um, and also, like you said, we're women owned. So most people kind of, consider me sometimes as like a fashion designer or wardrobe stylist. And, sometimes men are intimidated by my presence. Um, so I would say that. And there has been, those little advances. And sometimes, like for me, I don't mix those things. I don't mix, they say don't mix business with pleasure. So no man can get me to like fall for him
Yeah.
so he can like help my business. I have turned down so much, and I probably, if I was that woman, my business would probably be, you know, would probably have tons of investors,
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I have integrity, and I have a I have integrity, and I have a moral compass that I live by. And I feel like the obstacles that I go through is because God wants me to learn what I need to learn without the dependency of others.
Right.
So of course he sends people to our rescue to help us and aid us in areas that we need help, but he wouldn't send that, right?
Right.
So those have been some of the obstacles in terms of like, meeting people that, have the wrong intentions, getting people to trust you with their vision, and also just you know getting people to understand the value in what they're spending. Like, I know, like you said earlier, there are so many people that know about production and cameras and things like that, but it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my son could pick up a camera and start filming. You know what I mean? He's 15 years old, but can he tell a story visually? Can he write the script? Can he,
Mhm.
can he give the direction? Can he, see the ending before the beginning? And I think that that's the most important part is when you're investing into your vision, you're investing into the entire project, not just someone capturing what you need. So I would encourage people, when they think about working with a production company and not just a videographer, to think about the investment in the entire vision and not just the capture of what
Right.
they need. So
And I think too, a lot of people don't know that,
yeah.
right? A lot of plethora of people don't have an insight. They
Mhm.
really just look at certain people, which is not a bad thing. Because again, sometimes we have to somewhat mimic in order to start our own creativity,
Yeah.
right? And really dive in. If you really and you're serious about it, you really drive the information to how do I become better at what I'm doing? And sometimes becoming better mean that you have to get under the tutelage of someone who's an expert to really understand how do I move this to go there. And as you stated about storytelling, a lot of people don't understand that you have to tell a story.
Yes.
How do certain people gravitate? How do certain people get a community? How do certain people bring on people? to really believe who they are.
Yeah.
And sometimes along that way, you may have to be slightly transparent, or you may just have to just be who you are, regardless, and don't care what no one says, right? Because at the end of the day, only you and God know the vision. Only you know where you need to go.
Mm. Yeah.
So to really dissect and really understand, how do I become better, is that you pray for better. You pray, how do I find that information? And I
Yeah.
just think a lot of people just look at social media and say, okay, if Sarea's doing this, I'm looking at her and I could just pick this up. Let me
Right.
see if I can go ahead and bewilder this and just go ahead
Right.
and do it, and realizing how she's able to get it and I'm not getting it. One, God didn't call you to do that. That's number one. But number two, if
Clock
you're
that.
serious, correct. If you're serious, God will work some things out. But again, I think a lot of people just trying to jump on the bandwagon and just run and hopefully find this wave that somehow or another, I'm going to make this X amount of money. I'm going to get this, without really going further and finding the information. How do certain people are be able to become creators, to create and bring in a community? Because to me,
Yeah.
it's the difference between a supporter and a follower. We all have followers, but you want supporters. Supporters are when you're looking for that fund, right? When you
Yeah.
have an event, right? Those are supporters who are there in body. Yes, you may get the money, but I am trying to tell a story. And sometimes telling my story, I have to go through a threshold in order to replay the story so that it could continue. That's why they call chapters. Because without that chapter, I can't go to the next. So it's a whole different, right?
Yes.
I totally understand,
Exactly.
right? I totally understand the production and how to understand and how to maneuver. So
Yes.
now that you're here, like, what is one thing that you see yourself moving forward as you've been in business for X amount of time? What is one thing that you see yourself that you needed more of to get to that next level?
What do I need more of?
Yeah.
Hmm. I think
And I ask that because when people, it's almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost you watching a show. Okay, I'm gonna use Tyler Perry. You
yes.
see Lionsgate, right? We know Lionsgate's production owns that, right?
Yes.
And of course, they have the casting production, they have everything, but who owns this? Who's part of the production is Lionsgate. They're
Right.
giving the videographer, they're doing the film. So how do you see yourself going that far? And if you are, what is the next step for Sarea Flo production?
Yes, that's exactly the direction that we're going in. We have a couple of pilots that we want to not want to, but that we have slated to be filmed in
Mhm.
2025. And it's just about the financing for it. So knowing the budget breakdown for each project that it will take to get for that particular production. So we are getting our ducks in a row for those. I have one specific that I have to like literally get out because it's already been pitched. It's already been kind of like greenlit to like be produced, but I need to make sure that the same production company that was on board is continuing to be on board. If
Right.
not, then I'll have to look for someone else. But um, that's the direction we're going in. Making sure that we have more substantial film and television productions and not just doing only video production. Video production is like quick and easy
Yeah.
because people in your area need those services,
Yeah.
but the integrity of the company is where it comes from with the television production portion and the film production portion. So that is an extreme focus for 2025, and also kind of expanding the team.
Hmm.
So we've been working with a lot of we hire a lot of interns throughout the year.
Okay.
So the plan is to, continue that, but also hire people um, contract based per project and continue on that way. So I'm excited about that because that is something that I saw myself living in, when I first started, getting hired by different production companies on different projects, which was, which helped me to grow and
Mhm.
develop my own portfolio in this industry. So I'm excited about being able to offer that opportunity to the next generation.
Wow. So
Yeah.
after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest, Sarea Flo, about her whole production. So after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest, Sarea Flo, as she stated. She loves to bring on people and showing them the route, the way of how video production, film production, TV, and so forth, how she got started and how she would like to carry that tutelage on. So after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guests. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Want to reach an engaged audience? Have no fear. Advertise your business on our podcast. Connect with us, the Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast, and let's grow together. Email us, and we surely look forward to hear from you. Welcome back to Coffee with Joy. Thank you so much for coming back. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy with my guest, Sarea Flo. Productions, woo, woo. So, before we went to break, you stated that, you like to help interns because that's how you got your break. So, what are like 3 things that you offer them in order for them to come on board, and how long are they on board for in order to receive, great help, even though we know it, everything is they learning on site. What is something that you bring them on, and how long they're on site for?
So I bring interns on per semester.
Okay.
Each semester, you're able to apply. We have requirements that is needed. So you will have to send in a resume, a cover letter addressed specifically to the company, and then your unofficial transcripts. We also require the students to have at least a 3.5 GPA. And then they have to be in college. First of all, let's just start there. They have to be in college.
Yeah.
It could be undergrad or graduate. The GPA is definitely important because I know that when I was in college, I was an overachiever. I maintained being on honor roll, making sure I was on the dean's list. So it's just something that I have to have within the company so that we are making sure we are accepting the best of the best students. Just because it takes a level of understanding and a bit of ambition to be a part of this industry. And I know that a lot of people look at a production and think that it's like super fun, but it requires for you to do a lot. And it's a humbling industry, actually, because even though I'm a producer now, I was humbled when I restarted in the industry full time. I got my second chance in production at 30. So I'm working with people that are producers and production coordinators and all of that that's younger than me.
Yeah.
And I had to maintain professionalism and maintain poise and grace and all these things, even though I was being given direction by someone that was younger than me. Right. So, I want to make sure that the opportunities that I give to the interns, they're experiencing it in real life terms, like this is how it is. So we have positions in for marketing, social media, and then just production assistant, and all of them have something to do with production, but we have specifics when it comes to like the positions that we offer.
Oh, okay. So, and how many you take on per semester?
The max I take on is 4.
Okay.
Yes.
And do they get any like credits or anything that will help along the way once they're part of like the intern? Because my major is journalism. So,
yes.
I worked at the news station, and that was part of, we had to intern, right, in order to, to graduate. So right. Does that help them with with their graduate course?
It does. So they have to be eligible enough to be in their internship course so that they can receive college credit. I also allow students who may not be in their internship course yet to still apply.
Okay.
However, they have to know that if they're not receiving credit, that it is still pro bono. And if they would like to get paid, they would work on a production with the company, but it's kind of like they're applying for that. You know what I mean? Because it's, in all fairness, I could really hire someone who's in the industry to work in that position. So that's kind of how we do the internship program. So I do afford opportunities for for paid and credit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we know that your day is completely busy, right? We know it's moving, it's going up, down, left, is being called.
Yeah.
And just a little tidbit, people, you know, me and Sarea met in this 202 Creates. I mean, such a fabulous woman. Let me tell you all.
Thank
So
you.
very close, Grace, you know,
Oh,
love you woman.
no.
So grateful. So grateful to have her on today. You know, this
Thank
has
you.
been like 360, like wow. Getting people I know, because get out there, people. You got to get out there to meet people, find people of your trail as you continue to break through in your own vision. So
Right.
now, what is a day like in Sarea Flo? Because you know, some people as a producer, you know, as executive producer, what does that day consist of? And the reason why I ask is because I had the opportunity of going on, Sherry Shepherd show.
Yes.
And it was like fast moving and really seeing it. It's one thing to watch it on TV, but it's one thing to
Mhm.
actually see, even though I was just an audience member, but
Yes.
I was like a kid at a candy store. I'm looking left and right, up and down, like, whoa, wow. Because again, they have to keep the crowd together, right? They have to have
Yes.
crowd control. They have to know when to pause, be quiet, you know, to bring in, how to bring in the host. It's so many moving parts, which I was like, I'm loving this. Like, God, I know, oh my gosh, I know we're coming, right? Syndicated. Yep, yep.
It's
So
coming.
I know, right? It's coming. So just watching that, what is a day like? You don't have to go to detail, but what is a day like in Sarea Flow production?
Okay. So a day in Sarea Flo Productions. It starts off with our production meetings at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Discussing the projects that we're currently working on, going
Mm,
over footage, discussing our social media strategy, and then making sure that we have everything that we possibly need to complete these tasks. Then there's calls to clients, and some cold calls to garner new clients.
yeah.
Um, we're always doing research for our current projects that I just spoke with you about, that we
Mhm,
are looking to film in 2025.
mhm.
So those are um, those are like the boring things that happens. Like you got to make these calls, you got to send these emails, talking to professors, sending emails, all these things. It's just like literally a lot of administrative work,
Okay.
um, on a day to day. But if we are having a production day, then um, we still have our production meeting in the morning, and then we get all of our gear ready, to head out to set. And I am like a punctual person when it comes to production, because producers have to make sure that we're spending the money correctly
Yeah.
for the time that we have to be there. So if I go over, even if I go over, if it's supposed to end at 7 o'clock and we're getting out of there at 7:01,
Yeah.
then I spent too much money,
Yeah.
So I make sure that we arrive 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours before, depending on how big the production is. And then getting all the cameras set up, the lights, making sure the guests that we're filming with, they also come, arrive to the set an hour and a half to an hour before they're scheduled to film, and start our production. Making sure that I like to treat my clients like family.
Mhm.
So I just treat them like, say, for instance, they're coming to my house, right? I got
Yeah.
like a welcome packet for them. I have, some food for them, something to drink, make sure they're settled, make sure they're comfortable, give them kind of a pep talk, make sure they're not nervous when they're ready to be filmed, all the things to make sure that they're absolutely comfortable with, um, being able to film. And then we get the production started. And, I make sure that they're taken care of throughout the entire day. So that's what I have my interns for as well,
Yeah.
as production assistants, to assist me in making sure that things get done. So a lot of people think it's like all Sarea. It's like, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Production, if you are not a team player, you should not work in production, because it's all about collaboration.
Mm,
So that's what
mhm.
a day just in office is like, and a day on set is like.
So when does your day end? Like on a consecutive basis? Or what
What
does
time
I
of day?
know, right? It's
Maybe
kind of
like,
funny to say end.
depending.
Mhm.
I would say the latest, like, I try to be like mindful and respectful of my own self.
Yeah.
I try to end my day at like 8 o'clock,
Okay.
because I know I have other things, and I like to cook. So I'm like, I don't want to eat after 8. So I try to make sure it's 8, even if I stop and then do a little cooking or I go, I make
Yeah.
sure I try to end at 8. But if I have meetings, so like for instance, I have a client that I usually meet with at 7. Then my
Hmm.
day doesn't end till 10, 11
Hmm.
because I actually go to their actual location to meet with them to discuss all the logistics of what we have to film and then of course like I said, I treat my clients like family, so we're in there cutting up, enjoying the time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
but before midnight, that's for sure. I'm not that person that's like, oh, I gotta burn a midnight oil, I gotta do.
yeah, yeah.
I believe in rest, so
Of course. And I ask that because, this society has really built the ideology of grinding, right? Of
yes,
grinding. We got to beat our feet to this pavement. We got to get it done where it's biblical where God rest,
yes it is.
and people mismanage their days. So when it's time to rest, they can't rest, right? And it's a learned behavior.
Yeah,
And what you're doing is right, but you have to incorporate rest where it's non-negotiable.
yeah,
It's part of the business where if I'm not part of the equation, the business does not move. And if I'm not
exactly.
there mentally, it does not move. So I have to
Agreed.
build in rest, whatever that rest looks like for me, but knowing that the whole, meaning the body
Yeah,
itself, internally, externally, is together. And I think a lot of people miss that part where they're just grinding, and that's not what God has called you to do, because He's giving you everything you need in order to move to the next step. So
amen.
that's the reason why when I hear, production is a serious thing,
Yeah, it
and
is.
like I stated, being on Sherry Shepherd, they're doing like 2 shows per day, but they're
Mhm.
resting probably the next day. But resting meaning that, hey, we just probably gathering ourselves, getting ourselves together where it becomes, instead of an 8 hour, it becomes like a 3 hours, right?
Yes,
It's part of the resting. But still learn to go over and really making sure that you do not leave yourself out the equation, right? So
absolutely.
as we bring, of course, there's plethora more things we could talk about, right? What is one thing that keeps Sarea going? Like, is there an affirmation prayer? Because I think a lot of people look at entrepreneur and say, yeah, I can do this. And it's almost like if I had to use a beach, everybody's like, yeah, I could do that. I could swim, or even a pool. I could go in. That's easy, but
Yeah,
not realizing you don't know the temperature of the water. You don't
yeah,
know the depth. There's no numbers on there. And even though it may say 6 feet, it goes further down. Just because someone is looking very flawless swimming on 10 feet, that don't mean that you can do it. So we
right.
look at other people and we just say, oh, yeah, I got this together. I could do this. And that's not what God called you. So,
Well,
but
so
not
good.
knowing that what you do in order to make sure that you and the production runs successfully. Couldn't get
Mhm.
that word out. Successfully. What is one thing that keeps you going as a whole, rather prayer, scripture, and so forth?
It is going to be prayer.
Yeah.
Okay. Prayer, like of course, prayer and reading my scriptures. I do a devotional in the morning, of course. I pray in the morning, do a
Mhm.
devotional, pray at night. I also just bought. I went to the new plant store on MLK. Well, it's now Marionberry Way or Drive, I think. I can't
Okay.
remember. But it's called Grounded, and
Mhm.
they have affirmation cards in there. So I look at an affirmation a day, but I also have my own internal affirmations that I say.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so like I'm a like an OCD person, so like I become obsessive with things, and I have it like in my phone too. So like 8 o'clock in the morning, it says like "Wake up, beautiful. You are powerful. You are strong." Like at every like 2 hours,
Yeah.
I have an affirmation coming through my phone. So that is how I stay, mentally grounded,
Mhm.
and kind of encouraged, because entrepreneurship is hard. Like I'm not an extroverted person. I'm very introverted, but because I work in production, um it makes me exude my gift
Yeah.
as an extrovert, but I'm not an extrovert at all. And a lot of people are like, "What? I can't believe it. Like, cause you like to talk." And I'm like, I like to talk, but I'm not I'm not the person that's gonna like be, in your face type. Like I'll speak to you and all the things, but I'm not like the conversation starter. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm not like the life of the party type. I
Yeah.
gotta be, I'm a fun time,
Mhm.
but I am so introverted when it comes to like, you know, doing a lot of things. And I think that's another thing that I had to learn in entrepreneurship. Like, girl, you got to get out of your shell because you
Mhm.
own a business. And that is what has helped me really running my business. God has obviously built more character in me because it has made me come out of my shell to talk to more people, to meet more people, to, to have a voice for what it is that I'm capable of doing. And I think that that has really helped me grow as a woman and
Mhm.
as a businesswoman. So, God does not fail in his promises. So like whatever you ask for, whether it's a business or a career, job, whatever, he's going to test you by
Yeah.
your character. And
Yeah.
your character is going to show if you're ready for what you've been praying for.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the things that you've been praying for, oh, I want $1 million. Okay, how diligent and persistent are you?
Oh,
You can't be lazy, you can't be a procrastinator. You gotta, you gotta put your effort in. So
yeah.
I think that that's how I stay lifted as an entrepreneur is prayer. Because I be talking to God like the homeboy, like, look, God, what's going on?
Right, 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 right,
I'm
right,
gonna
right.
need I'm gonna need a little help
Yeah,
on this one because
yeah,
you
yeah,
want me to be faithful and just, and I'm getting whooped out here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Oh no,
I'm
I feel you.
thankful.
I
It's
feel you.
it's been, well, November 2nd made 6 years, so I'm thankful that I can say that I've been in business for 6 years. So
Woo, woo.
glory
Yes,
to God on that.
yes, yes. January will be 3 for us.
Yes, three
So
years gonna
excited.
be with
Yes, amen.
joy.
Amen. Yes, yes. So again, Serena, thank you so much for being on Coffee with
Thank
Joy.
you.
So
Okay.
excited to have you. Yes,
Thank you
yes.
for having me.
Everything you said, yes, prayer is strong. That is the primary thing here. Hey, we don't leave home without it. And we have it
Amen.
at home. We have it in the car, everywhere else. So again,
Exactly.
thank you so much for being on Coffee
Thank
with Joy.
you.
Thank you
Absolutely.
all for being here. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow Coffee with Joy. So we're so ever grateful to have you all here. So you do have a question, please put them in the question box. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Spotify, All Thing Podcast. And please, if you like to patronize our company, please make sure that you follow our QR codes located right here. Any amount will help monetize our company as we move forward to being syndicated very soon, because God don't play about his people. Keep that in mind. So as always, as you always know, if it's a weekday or a weekend, a day that exists, it is Coffee with Joy. As always, live life on purpose, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned for something great. See you all. If you're really